Hello everyone, welcome back to Paper Made Me Do It. Since we are a little more than 3 weeks into the month of June, I thought I would do a little update video here on my bullet journal. Still have not decorated the front cover, haven't made any changes to the key. Still using the future log for scheduling out appointments, and that has worked well. Using the index here. And I've just made a couple changes since my setup video for the month of June. So I'm in the kind of bee theme this month. This is still working out very well for my monthly log, and it's not overcrowding at all. So there are a couple lines where I've had to add more than one thing, but there's still plenty of room, and it doesn't look too jumbled and busy when I refer back to it. Now the monthly task list I'm still using and working on, and I think this one task list is going to be fine moving forward from month to month. So I am going to do what I may have mentioned in that first video and just eliminate the addition of weekly views and weekly task lists. This was the weekly view that I set up for the very first month of June, but I found myself rarely referring back to it. I would always just look at my monthly and then my dailies. So I've not done another weekly view since here. Same with the weekly task list. I did the small habit tracker for that week here. But once that week got checked off, I just started relying on my monthly task list and my dailies. So I think that is going to work out better for me. And then these are how my dailies have been turning out. I'm not setting them up in advance, so I'm just allowing myself however much space I need for the actual day, and then skipping one line and moving on to the next day. So some days turn out fairly short, some need a little more room, but I'm really liking this whole concept of the system. It works really well for me. And this is where I left off in the first video. So after that, I did decide to go ahead, really just for practice and curiosity, to set up a block calendar just to see how it would fit in the B6 size book and just see how it would look, how much room it would give me, etc. And so this is not taking the place of the monthly log. I just did it more so almost like an experiment, but I do like how it looks and how it turned out. And all I've been tracking on this, so I'm not duplicating everything or forgetting what goes where. I'm not putting any tasks or appointments really on this calendar. Since it was set up, I decided to use it to just track the weather. You can see I kind of forgot about that for most of last week, but when I think about it, I'm just tracking the projected forecast, and I am also making a notation of when I'm watering my outdoor plants. So those are the only two things, plant watering and weather, that I've been tracking on this calendar. These stickers came from a previous Stickii Club monthly subscription. They fit in perfectly with that bee theme. And then I just took a fine liner here and drew a little dotted line to kind of make it look like they had been flying around on this side of the page. This lettering matches the cover lettering. I did that with a mild liner highlighter brush pen, zebra. And one thing I learned here is I started out writing the full day of the week, Monday, and then I realized when Monday basically covered the whole area of the width of the block with that size fine liner I was using, I looked ahead and realized that there was no way that Wednesday would ever fit here. So I kind of just did a little hodgepodge and did just abbreviations for Tuesday and Wednesday, and just did every other, like Monday, Thursday, and Sunday, I wrote out the whole word. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, Saturday, I just did abbreviations. So if I do the block calendar again in the future, I'll either just do the abbreviations of each day of the week, or maybe just one, capital letter. But there's not enough room in this size book, unless I was writing very small with a thin fine liner, for the word Wednesday to fit in that amount of space. And so after that, since I decided I did not need the weeklies anymore, I just continued on with my dailies. I'm just writing the date of each day along with the day of the week in all caps with a fine liner, and then highlighting each of those headings with that color palette that I used on my cover page. And you'll notice on some pages I circled the page number, and that just gives me, as I'm flipping through, if I see a page that's circled, that tells me that that page is complete, that everything on there has either been accomplished or rescheduled, and I don't have to keep referring back to those pages. So complete, complete, complete. Now up here, I knew this was going to happen before it happened. I went ahead and did it anyway, but I've been using fine liners on all of these pages, and for this day I just grabbed a fountain pen that did not have waterproof ink in it. So when I went over that header with the highlighter, I did get some smearing. Thankfully it wasn't too bad. I mean, it could have been worse. It's still, legible, but that was just kind of a little lesson learned. I just need to stick with my waterproof archival fine liners, and that way I can go back over anything and highlight and not have to worry about smearing. Now, going into this week, the week of June 22nd, I did add something new that I'm really excited about. This is something that I've been wanting to do and needing to do for a very long time, but I decided to jump back into the Flylady system for maintaining our home, cleaning routines and things like that. So one of the cornerstones of the Flylady system is routines. So I took this page and set it up for the routines that I'm trying to establish new habits. So this kind of took the place of my little weekly habit tracker that I did that first week, and most of these things are already taken care of within these routines. Now there may be a couple things here when I do this again next week. I may tweak the contents and add, this section could go onto another page, which would leave me maybe 5 or 6 lines if I wanted to add anything additional into my routines. But I just set them up as a morning routine, afternoon, and bedtime, my 3 daily routines that I'm trying to get established, and just set this up like a simple tracker with the first day or the first letter of the day of each week across the top. And then I just put little dots to mark each day, and as these things are getting checked off, I'm just crossing them out like you would any other task. You can see I'm doing really well, considering I haven't done this in probably a year or more, probably 2 years, honestly. The one thing that I've missed yesterday and today is exercise. That's a whole other story, something that I'm gonna have to get back into sooner than later, but that hasn't happened yet this week. And then this weekly home blessing at the bottom, these things are just done once a week and not every single day, so I just decided to write them out with a little checkbox in front. And what I did initially was, inside the checkbox, I drew the first letter of the day of the week that I accomplished that task. Ideally, you would do all of these things on one day, but if you can't get to them all in one day, it is fine to stretch it out throughout the week as long as it gets done on a weekly basis. So these 3 blocks that I took care of yesterday, they did have a little M sketched in each one of them just to let me know, you know, you did these 3 things on Monday. But for some reason, I didn't care for the way that looked. So I ended up taking a fine liner and just crossing through them to kind of shade in the box. And then I just wrote a little M in parentheses to represent Monday at the end of each of those 3 tasks. And I like the way that looks better. I just like having the check boxes blocked in. I think at a glance, it's more obvious visually that those things are done. And then these things are still left to do this week. So routines and the weekly cleaning all fit on one page. And then on the back, another quite large or important part of the Flylady system is working in zones of your home. So I wrote zone 4 here, week of 6/22 through 6/28, and zone 4 represents the master bedroom, master bath, and master closet. So this is kind of my area of focus for this week. And I took the task that Flylady recommends in each of these categories. She has a free app and all of this is set up for you, which is nice. So I took her suggestions as a guide, and then I did tweak them to where they suit me personally in our home. So they don't exactly match what her suggestions are, but they're very close. So these are the tasks that ideally would get done at some point this week. You have the whole week to work on them. So as I'm knocking them off, I'm just blocking in the squares, and this is so rewarding. I had a good day yesterday. Now, you're only supposed to spend 15 minutes a day in your zone cleaning, but I had more time than that yesterday, and I just figured, you know, yesterday was day 1, and while my motivation was high and my energy was high, I just went ahead and spent a little more time knocking things out, and, you know, that's fine. You just have to tweak it and make it work for you. So as the week progresses, I'll keep referring back to this sheet and hopefully knock off some more of these tasks. Anything that doesn't get done here would be a visual for me that next month when zone 4 rolls around again, I would theoretically set up this same page again in July, whatever week zone 4 falls on, and make out my list. And anything that did not get marked off here, I would do those things first in the month of July, and then go back and start repeating as time allows. So that's kind of the theory. This one little page is going to be so helpful to help me get organized again and get back on track with my decluttering and housekeeping tasks. So on Monday, I just went directly back in with my dailies. I'm actually not missing my weeklies. So just using the bullet journal method, you know, these pages don't have circles around the page number, so I know to keep checking them, you know, and here I can just kind of disregard these. So pretty simple and straightforward, but so far I'm really loving this setup. I'm still loving the Archer and Olive book. These bright white pages look very nice. They look clean and organized, and I'm not having trouble finding anything. I am doing, you know, some flipping back and forth now that I'm a few weeks into the month. So one thought that I have that I haven't acted on yet is if there's a section of several daily pages that have been circled, I thought it may be beneficial to take that group of pages and maybe put a small like little paper clip or something around them, so you would only flip, you know, a completed section instead of flipping each individual page. That's not a huge, it's not a deal breaker or like a big thing or anything, but I think it would make it even a little more efficient and quicker to find what you're looking for. So what I'm flipping back and forth mostly for is to check my monthly log for appointments, and then to check my monthly task list as I have time to see, is there anything I can knock out from my task list. So other than that, I'm pretty much living in the dailies and I'm really enjoying it. So I hope y'all enjoyed this update. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them for me down below, and I really appreciate y'all watching. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.